Please welcome the founder chairman of AsiaRay Media Group Limited, Mr. Vincent Lam. Welcome.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hi, thank you for having me. My topic today is navigating business turnaround. It's a very triumphant name, but what I'm going to share with you are the mistakes that I've made, and painful mistakes though, and how we pull all sorts of tricks to get it to turn the things around. Well, these three critical mistakes nearly cost the whole company. And we have an annual loss from about 173 million loss, and we managed to turn around to about 10 million profit last year. And I find that failure is probably the greatest teacher. Well, I think I'm new to this place, and in fact, this is my first 24 hours in India in my whole life. And when Vincent invited me to come, I immediately jumped to it because I've never been to this wonderful country before. And so, well, a little bit of introduction about myself. I was born in Hong Kong, educated and lived in Australia for 15 years. And currently, I'm serving in two of my alma maters. I'm serving as patron for the China Endowment Network for the Sydney University and a foundation board member of University of New South Wales. And having lived in Australia for 15 years, I returned to Hong Kong in '93 to start AsiaRay. And I've been in the business ever since. And in 2015, I got the company listed in Hong Kong Stock Exchange. And the stock code is the founding year, 1993. And I also wear another hat. I think Mr. Kim from Korea told me that he's been promoting WOO, World Out-of-Home Organization. I'm honored to be the first Chinese board member of WOO. And in fact, the first Asian board member is Numi from India. And now taking over Numi is Pawan. So it's quite an honor. Well, as I mentioned earlier, the company was listed. And apart from me as a shareholder, in the private sector, we have Ant Financial, who's the owner of Alipay, as one of our strategic investors. And also we have State-owned Enterprise, which is the Beijing municipal government as our major shareholder, as our investor. And also the multinational conglomerate, LVMH Fund, L Catterton, as well as the Hong Kong Sovereign Fund, Hong Kong Government Sovereign Fund, Greater Bay Area Homeland Foundation. So we have a quite diversified investor base. And AsiaRay, said earlier, was formed in 1993 upon return to Hong Kong, and we specialize in mega transit advertising. We are present in nearly 40 cities, currently with 15 metro lines that we run exclusively, about 25 airports, among them 22 exclusive, and also in Singapore, TAL, Thomson East Coast Line, and some other billboards. And I read your agenda. I find it's very interesting. There's a talk about, you're going to talk about commoditizing inventory, commoditizing OOH. And I think this is very honest to look at it. I've been to many out-of-home conferences. Nobody has ever been so candid and honest about it. In fact, we are in an industry that we are buy wholesale and sell retail. We get it from the landlord, in our case, airports or metros, a number of inventories, or probably in some other case, billboards. And we then sublet them to advertisers. And I think I've been thinking about how to add value to it, but half the time, we don't need to do the design because the advertisers will do their own design. So we end up, as what you said, commoditizing OOH. And so and over these years, I've been thinking about how to add value. So I come up with an idea called space management. Rather than pushing boxes, I think we can manage the space cleverly to add value to the advertisers. I'll elaborate on that later on. And we are very privileged to be included by the Harvard Business School as a case study. Thank you, thank you. Now I'm going to walk you through the 3 major mistakes that nearly cost the whole company, and how we survive. I wouldn't say major turnaround, but we survived, and looks like the future is getting better and better. First one is expansion trap. I think to put it in context, I'll give you some data that you will probably think why my head could become so big. I think this happens to a lot of people. Our head can easily become very big, right? And in 2018, a market research company called Frost & Sullivan did a market research, and we ranked #1 in the Greater China region in airport advertising. And we ranked #2 as in metro advertising. And as I read a friendly competitor's annual report, this friendly competitor happened to claim to be the #1 in the world. And every year, they rank the whole world's out-of-home companies. And I found that we're the biggest Chinese-owned transit company. And so, well, I mean, Chinese-owned. So this is quite an honor. And that's why, to probably explain why my head could become so big. And at the time, in 2018, our turnover is close to 2 billion, and combined revenue, which includes the associate companies that we do not have control, is over 2 billion. And in 2021, our consolidated revenue is over 2 billion. And the combined revenue is nearly 3 billion Hong Kong. And so in 2019, before 2019, I was in a big expansion mode because of this big head. And in fact, 2019, we are running at a loss. But because of the big head, I ignored it. I think we could get over because we are going for the size. But then, as you know, 2020 pandemic hit. So at the time, I thought this pandemic would be like SARS in 2003, which would disappear soon. We waited and waited. It didn't disappear. And our losses go further and further. And so that was the second mistake, or mistaking the pandemic would be over soon. The third mistake that I made was that I think to many of you who are here as entrepreneurs, your inventories are pretty much like your babies. You don't want to give up. So in my case, I try to hold on to them. Even though they were failing, I still try to hold on to them. But we are hoping that this thing would get over, that the pandemic would get over, and that this inventory will start performing better. But good wishes is good wishes. Reality is reality. So it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So the losses get further and further. And then in the second half of 2022, I think I have to wake up that this is not what I hoped for. in which you face the reality. So I start chopping the failing projects. It's quite painful, and it takes a long time because you can't just walk out of the project anytime you like because you have a contract, right? So I gradually change the project, I gradually withdraw from them. And thank God, in 2024, we are back in profit. But it is a painful exercise. Well, as you see the map, the chart, the journey is a very tough one. You can see all the reds. But actually, before 2018, it was all profit-making. So that's why the head could go so big. And then in pandemic, it's a big loss. And looks like we can back to normal now. Well, just now I mentioned about the space management. And we talk about how I thought in our industry is a buy wholesale, sell retail. How do we add value? I try to position myself as the manager of the space. Just now we mentioned, you guys mentioned about the transit, that we have the space of our own. How do we make good use of it? So I position myself as manager of the space. So I put space management in action for you. And each space has its own character. And may that be a light box, may that be a billboard. The surrounding constitute the whole space, not just the piece of steel itself. This is a car park in the crossover tunnel in Hong Kong. When we inherited it, even though this position is excellent, nobody wants it because of its T-shape. You can't very well put your head on it. Your face would get chopped off, right? But the characteristic of this space is a car park. What's best for a car park? Sell to cars. So we do a mock-up and pitch to Mini Cooper. They love it. So we have the first real and fake car park in Hong Kong. And that was a killer. And since then, this idea of real and fake car parks can spring off into many other inventions. I can show you later on. We can have King Kong smashing the car park, and we also have the Disney turning around the car park. The Disney eye, the illusion turning around the car park. So after that, we don't need to do all the time real and fake car park because this site has become so popular that people would have some expectation every time they go through. And you don't need to be a real and fake car park, people still like it. Secondly, in our space management, we find that out-of-home advertising is the only media that can tickle people's 5 senses. Only media. And this one, we put aroma, smell into action. It's a campaign we do for KFC in Shenzhen Metro. And so I didn't know that KFC didn't sell coffee. And when they start to launch coffee, we pipe up coffee smell. And you can see this lady, she smelled coffee in the metro. And she find KFC coffee. So she look around, and then she go to this advertising and start smelling the advertising. All right, so this is quite interesting, that you have smell into your advertising. This is another one that we do in Beijing Metro. We actually, this is for a TV series called, I don't know how to translate it in English, but we actually make up the whole peach garden in the subway. And we pipe out the peach smell, and also we have cards for people to put on it. And we have paddle-made QR code. And on Valentine's Day, we start giving out flowers. So people love it. It becomes a whole event. people come to this place, especially from long distance. Thank you very much. And thirdly, I think out-of-home advertising is also the only media that employs the most technology. In digital, after all, it's computer-related stuff. In TV, is also very limited usage of technology. But in out-of-home, because it can take hold people's 5 senses, it requires a big spectrum of technology employed. So during the tough years, we have to get this space management to work harder. And one example that we do is for McDonald's in Hong Kong, that we do a preview program that we can use your mobile phone to control the Fu Panda to move around, to collect the buns. If you collect certain buns, then if you get smashed by a stone, your marks get deducted. And after you collect certain marks, you can go to the nearby McDonald's store to redeem your Big Mac or whatever. This is another one we recently do in Singapore for Jurassic Park. They start screening on July the 2nd. It's a fog screen that you can actually project your image in the air. And this becomes a big attraction to many people. And the young people, the kids love it because they can walk through it, you can see image, and later on you can see that the kids love it. Thank you. This is another one that we do in Hong Kong for Sun Life Insurance. In the daytime, it's a billboard, it's a sticker wrap. In the nighttime, we turn it into an LED screen. And we also make use of the time of the New Year countdown. And this is a big event. This big event has been recorded in many news all over the world. So we don't just get the exposure in Hong Kong for this time period. Hello 2025. So we make use of this government organized event and put ourselves in the map in the world. And all over the world have been reporting about this firework show. And our advertisement is in there. Well, I think we talk about programmatic DOOH. We are honored to be the first company to do PDOOH in China, including Hong Kong. That was back in 2018. The DSP was Google. Now that was their first time to connect to OAC platform. And we are honored to be involved in that. And it took us nearly a year to complete the project. I think, yes, it's difficult, but it's not that difficult. I think they have more security concern. And I think after that, they decided not to continue with PDOOH. And that's why we have other players nowadays. And this is an example that we do in Hong Kong involving bus shelters. We have rainy day versions, we have nighttime versions, we had weekend versions. As just now, somebody mentioned, day partying. And there's another one that we do. There are a few more that we do in Hong Kong and Singapore, where the regulation is more friendly to PDOOH. And one we do in Olay is we do retargeting. So we combine DOOH with online media. So we do another online ad for Olay. And we find that the click rate in this retargeting is in fact higher than 2 slots of online. And then the other one that we do for Disney in Hong Kong is that Disney wants to target certain audience, university graduates that who have been to Water World in Ocean Park in Hong Kong. So we do a heat map for them of all our inventories, our bus shelter inventory in Hong Kong. With this heat map, we put the advertising for them. And we managed to show them how many target audience we can reach. And also, how many of this audience actually visited Disney within a month from the advertising. And, well, apart from, as a way to survive, apart from doing what we do, we also go into the vertical market of designing advertising. What I mean by designing advertising is the format of advertising. Back about 20 years ago, when China started to build a lot of airports, we find that the architects, the design of the airports, know nothing about outdoor advertising. And the people doing outdoor advertising know very little about architecture. So I started a team that specialized in helping these architect firms to place advertising in the airports. And nowadays, we are the biggest designers helping, or I don't know whether design is the right term, but we help these airports put where and what format of advertising in the airports. And we also branch out from airport into metros and now into cities. So we are probably the only one that specializes in this in the whole of China. And I also bought a company that specializes in manufacturing of hardware, of outdoor hardware. And following, I'm going to show you some of the major pieces of work that we do. And this is a trophy given by Coca-Cola. And it says that it congratulates us for helping them build the world's most iconic digital sign. This is a very boastful claim, but not by us, but by Coca-Cola. I'll show you where it is. It's actually in New York Times Square. And this work claimed 2 Guinness records. I'll be real quick. But I think this is worth looking. This is actually driven by robotic arms. The whole thing moves. It's not an illusion. It's physical movement. Okay, another one we do is in Sunset Boulevard, Hollywood, and this is we do the manufacturing. The media is done by Orange Sparrow. I'll move on, and also we also make the Sydney bus shelters. Again, the media is done by QMS. It's not done by us. We also do some Louis Vuitton storefronts, both in airports and in outside. Well, to wrap the whole thing, we shift the model. We still do heavy inventories, heavy capital investment inventories, like undertaking the whole airport and metros. But we have to be very careful. And we also start out doing some other smaller projects involving technical things and stuff. Well, we get a lot of cross-industry recognition. And we are honored to receive the Cannes Lions Award as well as the Spice Asia Awards. Well, to sum up, there are 5 learnings that I made in these mistakes. Firstly, don't get too big in your head, and we have to balance optimism with financial discipline. So we don't always just follow our heart, we have to follow our mind as well. And we have to be careful in doing our sums. And when you are in prosperity, be careful. Well, looking ahead, I think AI, everybody knows, and sustainability, I think everybody talk about. I think the biggest sustainability for us is to stay alive, especially in a tough environment. Well, I find that failure is the greatest teacher, and crisis and opportunities are always 2 sides of a coin. And for us today, if you are in certain crisis, I pray that you will have the resilience and wisdom to get over. And if you are in prosperity, I hope the mistakes I made will be a good reminder to you. But for most of us who are in between, I wish you a happy day. Thank you very much.
Continue, sir. Continue. Vincent,
Thank you.
Mr. Vincent Lam, continue to be with us on stage. We've got some questions for you, and if you may please answer them. We're
sure.
requesting Mr. Junaid Sheikh of Roshan Space to kindly come up onto stage. He's right there. He's joining us. Mr. Junaid Sheikh will be joining us on the podium there. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I've got almost 114 questions. Difficult to choose 3 out of them, but I have the first question from Yuvraj Agarwal from AsiaRay Media. If you could credit just one decision, pricing, product mix, or cost discipline, which one delivered the biggest jump in cash flow and your road to turning profitable, and why did it beat all the expert advice on the table?
It's a bit long. Can you repeat that?
So,
I can't hear you too well.
so basically he wants to know which one of your decisions in pricing, product mix, or cost discipline, which one delivers the biggest jump in cash flow? How did you turn around the cash flow, basically? What was the one decision that turned profitable for you and create cash flow?
I think you're right on. Cash flow is the major issue. Cash flow is the major issue. And how do you manage that? Well, I managed to get the bank to trust me because I personally put in 300 million to a listed company. So what better confidence do you want, right? And so the bank think, yes, this is a good guy. He put the money where his mouth is. And I think this is one thing. Another thing is a lot of tedious things. And even nowadays, we have to be very careful in handling our cash flows. And also make sure that the banks are happy about it. So we have to find out something that you can delay payment if you are really that cash tight, and somebody that you can hold on. So this is a real day-to-day job that you have to decide in real time.
Thank you. The second question is from Nabendu Bhattacharya, very relevant to our industry as well. How fragmented is China and Hong Kong outdoor market? What's your suggestion to Indian OOH industry where outdoor media owners could be, should I make that 10,000 Nabendu instead of 5? So 5,000. How do you regulate OOH industry?
Sorry.
So the question is, how fragmented is China and Hong Kong outdoor market?
Yes.
And what's your suggestion to Indian out-of-home industry where we have similar scenarios with 5,000 media owners?
I think the China or Hong Kong out-of-home market is not as fragmented as it used to be. I think when I started the business back about in 1993, we have lots and lots of billboards, lots and lots. I used to joke about this. On the way from the airport to the city, you should probably see more billboards than trees. And at the time, they like uni-poles. You have a pole and then a billboard on top. And the more billboards, the more uni-poles than trees. But then the government decided they want to chop down on this. So a lot of companies went out of business. And at the time, we were also in some billboards. But then I started early in investing in airport advertising back in many years ago. So we managed to survive. Otherwise, we could have been wiped out at the time.
The third question is from Vaibhav, from Add-on More. With real-time bidding scenarios increasing in the programmatic universe, are we killing the art of contextual storytelling by fragmenting screen space?
If I understand the question correctly, is do you want to segmentize the screen? Or
does programmatic kill the power of creativity and contextual advertising?
Yes, how programmatic can help. I think programmatic certainly helps, like one we do just now for rainy days, because it doesn't rain every day, or it doesn't rain the whole day. So it only gets broadcast when it rains. So that helps in that regard. And whether we can have more creative in that, I think we certainly can. We certainly can. And especially, we can put in some info from outside. And we can pop into the stock market. If the index has gone up 100 times, then you start selling luxury goods, right? Things like this. And this could be very interesting, because when you start relating to things happening real time, then the whole campaign will become much more lively. Certainly, that can help, and we've done it before. Thank you.
Can you choose your best question? One of them. Which one do you thought that was impactful?
I think the last question was good.
The programmatic universe.
Yes.
Vaibhav from Add-on More. Congratulations. Yeah. Good question.
I think people are starting to do more programmatic nowadays than before. And in fact, the first one that I came across was Google. But then I think for their strategic reason, they decided not to go ahead later on. But well, I personally feel there's a bright future for programmatic.
So congratulations. Can we please have the winner join us on stage? Congratulations, you got 10,000 rupees. You asked the third question in the house. Can we please have the name of the winner?
Vaibhav from Add-on More.
Vaibhav, join us, join us.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Mr. Junaid, can you please join us as
Thank you.
well for the
With pleasure.
photograph? That's a big check.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. 10,000 rupees, always nice. Thanks to MSMA. And we request Mr. Junaid Sheikh to hand over this memento on our behalf to thank our presenter. Thank you, Mr. Vincent Lam. Thank you for joining us. It was and has been an inspiring journey, and thank you for sharing it with us. And can we please have the lucky draw being brought on?